Hello, and welcome to this little demo of my new preset pack Obsidian for Serum 2. A few words to explain. The macros are intentionally not labeled. They are called play. When I design the presets, these macros, they have names that I don't get lost inside the preset design. But then in the end, I will label them play because it really doesn't matter. These are meant to be played. You're not supposed to, oh, this is this kind of parameter, let me turn it up. This is kind of parameter, let me turn it down now. I play them with the Korg Nano Control, like the small controller that everyone has for live performances. And it's kind of a cheap controller, but it's also perfect because you can really nicely put all your fingers down on the faders. And then you can move all 8 macros at once because the faders are rather small. And so it's really easy to just with a decent amount of finger movement cover the full range of the control. It's perfect for this kind of controller. A few more words about the nature of this kind of pack and how I view it, what kind of meaning it has in my workflow and my environment for me. And the word that comes to mind for me is the word or the term digital clone. It's a digital clone of my work in the hardware, and the work in the hardware is also like a hardware clone of this digital work. And there's a cycle going on between them. But let's view it from this perspective, that these are digital clones from the work in my hardware, and inside the software you can quickly try things out, experiment, and then I get new ideas. Oh, maybe this kind of shape, this kind of modulation makes sense. And it's more easy to find new things you want to check out. And then I come back in the UREC, in the modular, with these kind of findings and inspirations. And I manifest it in UREC. And there I also gain new ideas that I then explore in the software world, and then they are going back and forth, and the software inspires the hardware inspires the software, and so on, and it's fun. But in the end, I also build them for me, for my own production, for me to use them. They are not built just to sell you a preset pack. That's the most important thing for me, that these are authentic ones that are actually being used in my workflow. Another fun thing about how we can patch in Serum 2 now is that we have an arpeggiator on board. That means for this kind of lead sounds, concept leads, we don't need a rhythmizer or autoplay anymore, because we can do this with the ARP. And we can also tie the modulation inside each individual preset to the ARP as well, like the gate length or the pattern itself. When the preset changes, the pattern changes, the gate length changes, and things can correlate now on this level, and this is fun. The pack also includes a wavetable pack that I made with the DP-VCO, the Graphic VCO, Odessa, Zadar, and the Twin Peak Resonator. So I captured a few waveforms from these digital and analog oscillators, and these are what you find inside the preset pack. So these presets are meant to be played, explored. You can also go through the matrix and learn them, and view them as kind of a lesson, because you can always reverse engineer stuff. That's up to you. But for me, when this kind of chapter of exploring, collecting ideas is finished, I try to not overthink while I play them, and just play and just move the faders randomly, super randomly, without looking even, to find new combinations. Because the fun is, there is a general soundscape when they design the presets, and I still have my labels, and I try to incorporate a few different timbres and effects and styles and stuff. But then when you really play a preset like this, there really are new errors that are not being part of the initial vision of the preset. And yeah, these are these happy accidents, and they are the most fun when you just discover them while wiggling these small faders. So I have a small demo track here. There's just a few Atmos going on, kick and bass, and I will loop this 3 minutes and something, and then we will just go over a few of these presets. When there's something to be explained, I will do so. but let's just listen. And yeah, we are hearing this through a small chain. It's just compression. An OTT is there. Maybe that's useful information. I will bypass this for a few ones, but often an OTT is present. And just the usual limiter, a bit of stereo. And TUT is interchange for a little auto balancing, and the EQs are just high passes. So just a little dynamic control, no additional effects. Let's just go through this a few bars without serum, so you can differentiate. Okay, then let's check out the presets. The first one is called Blubberband in the SAW version. The square wave version of the same patch. Oh, and I forgot to mention that there's we are sending this sound into my Echo Boy send chain, and I have this send on the controller as well, and I will blend it in and out. It's just a ping pong with some side chaining from the sound itself. Yeah, let's continue. Let's continue with this preset. It's Dackelersatzverkehr. But first, before we continue, let's map also the octave to a MIDI controller so I can switch it up and down. As I said, you don't need any rhythmizer or autoplay. Just put a legato MIDI note in the key of your track, and let's go. So for the next one, after we had Dackelersatzverkehr, we have the Dackelkraftanlage. Let's go. Ooh. next one is Der goldene Pfannenwender. For some of them, I don't remember what my intention was for this one. I don't know, but it's fun. It's interesting. This would be good for a granular processor or something. Okay, the pack is called concept leads. The most leads are like, they serve like a similar purpose. So they are always evolving leads that always change, are organic. And but for some of them I experimented, and some of them are experimental, and yeah, just fiddle around. So for this next one, this is one of my favorites. This one is called Diesel Mouse. Yeah, we all remember the good old Diesel Mouse. So let's go. Free the gnomes. Let's go. Next one is the bleedy one. It's the Funkelgarten. Another similar approach, it's Glitzerglatze. two more lead type of presets. This is hochwertiger Edelstahlschnuller. I have it in my fingers with this one to put it through a nice infiltrator instance, but we want to focus on the presets. But by the way, let me know if you would be interested in presets for the infiltrator, because this is something I'm thinking about for a while. I use it a lot, and yeah, I could see myself making a preset pack for this one as well. Let me know. The next one as well, some preset that I would put through a granular processor. I would put it through a multigrain if you have it like an Arbor, or as well put it before a nice infiltrator instance. Yeah, it's a Jafar Cray. Yeah, if you know, you know. The next preset is called Kuchenradar. The next preset is called Nudelhorn, which is a blast instrument, which you can read here. So let's go. preset is called Pimp My UAP. This little hectic bleeper is called Randolph. Let's continue with Salatbremse 1.2. Maybe at this point, let's turn off the atmosphere. I think at this point it gets a bit repetitive. So let's just leave kick, bass and drums and listen to these ones. This one is called Schnöterich. And here we have Schnatterfranzel. This one is called Schnipfel. because everyone knows what a Schnipfel is. I mean, when I ask you what is your favorite Schnipfel and you can't tell me in 5 seconds what your favorite Schnipfel is, then I would question my life choices. There are also some of these, like the Schnupsdudelsaurier, which are more for the dark psi people to experiment around with it. They are not the classical leads, but yeah, like I said earlier, some of the more experimental approaches. And welcome to maybe my favorite of the pack. They are my favorites, but I like this one. It's a Spiritual Erdnuss Flip. Another one of my favorites, it's Total Tower. More Dackel stuff. It's Unterdackelbeleuchtung. You need one of those. I mean, if you have a Dackel, then it needs Unterdackelbeleuchtung to look cool in RGB. Yeah. And this one is the Vimana Express. When you go to a mastering engineer with the mix that is overly limited and clipped, then the mastering engineer will perform some Wurstheilkunde on your mix. I promise this is the last sausage-themed preset, but it's a nice one. It's called Wurstpropeller, and of course it's vegan. I dream from the future, and maybe in some day we will have something like Überschalldackellinie U4. I hope you enjoyed this little demo of the new Obsidian preset pack. It's available on the Reversible Records website. I will put the link in the description, of course. I will also put my link for Gumroad there. There you will find my previous releases for Vital and a Wavetable pack and a sample pack. Yeah, this Obsidian preset pack includes 50 presets. We previewed just a few of those. And it also includes 70 wavetables, which are made from the UREC, like I said, with the DP VCO, the graphic VCO. Not all of them are used in the presets, so it's just like an on-top thing. And you can use them for yourself. You can use them everywhere. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.